Dr. Subramanian Swamy now joins our broadcast. Sir, thank you for speaking to Times Now once again on the big story that we broke at 8:57 this morning. I want to begin by asking you, Dr. Swamy, what do you make of the government's move?
Well, it was broadly in keeping with what I had said from the beginning, that we don't have to worry about this title suit at all. Let them take 20 years, 200 years, it doesn't matter. There's enough undisputed land on which the government can start construction. The only difference is that government has now sought the permission of the Supreme Court to go ahead with the distribution of the non-disputed land which is largely owned by Ram Janmabhoomi Nyaya Samiti, which is largely Vishwa Hindu Parishad. And I'm hoping that the Supreme Court will immediately grant it, because the original stay order was put in at the time when Vajpayee was the Prime Minister on the promise that the Allahabad High Court judgment is imminent, and the earliest judgment of 1994, Faruqi's judgment, Constitutional Bench judgment, they also said that this land, nothing will happen till the suit is disposed of in Allahabad. So basically there is nothing now for the Ram Janmabhoomi Nyaya Samiti's land to be used for building all other parts of the temple. The sanctum sanctorum has to be built where the masjid once stood, and there is already a temple and puja is going on, and to build a new modern temple on that spot, we'll await the court judgment on the title suit. And anyway, we have nationalized it, so all that they will get, the title people will get, whoever gets the title will get compensation and nothing else. So I think this is a major beginning, and I am very happy with the government has taken this step.
You call it a major beginning, sir, but the Muslim side is saying their contention is that you can't look at the undisputed land in isolation.
Well, they haven't read the judgment, that means of Faruqi, as well as the subsequent Aslam Bhure judgment. And Aslam Bhure judgment, in fact, petition, in fact, I had later on asked for relaxation for building parking lots and restrooms and toilets and water coolers and so on. And the Allahabad High Court had agreed to that. So I don't know what they are talking about. They have no right to the undisputed land. From the day one it was undisputed land. The only question was that the title suit of Allahabad should be over, and that is over now.
Sir, do you think it's a stunt being played by political parties on Hindu sentiments? Because many believe that the UPA should have done this right after the 2010 Allahabad High Court judgment, and the NDA shouldn't have waited for 4 years. They could have done it in 2014.
I only 100% agree, and even this has been done on the pressure of all us Ram Bhakts, you see. And the only positive and constructive suggestion was given by me. Instead of waiting for court, I knew that the ordinance route would have been stuck up in Rajya Sabha. So therefore, I thought that the only way is the correct way is the way of starting the construction in the undisputed land, and that is what ultimately the government has agreed to do.
Sir, is this petition, do you believe, is Centre's last-ditch attempt or desperate attempt to make up for its inability to resolve the Ram Mandir dispute?
Well, I would say that the courts should also look at it in the larger perspective, because if the court delays this or gives a negative order, I would be very difficult for any government to control the mobs of sadhus and bhakts invading that land and starting to build the temple themselves. I mean, I don't want anarchy to take place, and the courts also realize that there are some judgments which are manageable and some judgments which are not manageable. And we have a small peep on what happened in the Sabarimala also. So the court must know the large sentiment of the people. The justice is on the side of the Hindus. There's no question about it. After all, there was a temple, and Narasimha Rao said, if there was a temple, we'll give the land to the Hindus. At that time, the Supreme Court did not object to it.
Well, Dr. Swamy, one last question.
In the judgment. So, yeah. Yes.
Point well made, sir. I understand that. One last question before we let you go. By opposing this petition by the centre, is the Muslim side now claiming ownership of the rest of the land also?
Muslims cannot claim the rest of the... who do they represent? They represent the defeated party in the 600 years of struggle between Islamic rule and the Hindus. How can they claim? And they have... those of them who didn't like us Hindus, they got Pakistan. So today they can't turn around and say that land which belongs to Lord Rama is something that we can contest. They should get real. They must know that this country is a continuing civilization.
Right, Dr. Swamy, thank you for joining us here on Times Now, and we leave it at that for now. The channel that broke the news break, also getting you the biggest voices, the biggest newsmakers.